Welcome to Unlock Your Soul Memory. My name is Iris Fischer, and I'm a provider of past life therapy sessions, hypnotherapy sessions. So I'm gonna bring the next part, the promised part in regards to addiction, part 2, which is giving you some hints or tricks or tips how you could help yourself already with maybe even dissolving the addiction. So, like I mentioned in the last video, the focus is to recognize that there are emotions playing into it. It's important how you look at addiction itself, seeing it as a behavior that is rooted in emotional patterns, seeing that something emotional is the driver. So this addiction has a specific purpose. It is fulfilling for you. And it's either to enhance emotions or it's to regulate emotions. The first question you could ask yourself, is there a way how I could regulate those emotions otherwise? Do I really need what I'm addicted to? Or is it just that I don't know yet what else I could do? In regards to bringing in emotions that you want, ask yourself, is there a different way how I could feel good and bring in those good, positive emotions? So just sit down, make a list, and write down every thought you have in regards to that question. You can even read it again. Maybe there are other thoughts coming in, other ideas, and try it out. So this exercise aims at finding out whether you could easily skip this addictive behavior with something which could be more meaningful, more nourishing to you. I guess you've already tried that because that's just a shift in the mindset. If you are in search of some deeper ideas, just bear with me. Sensing that this urge is stronger than a mere shift in your mindset, more powerful than your wish to abstain from this addiction. The mind is not strong enough to overcome this emotion, because otherwise you could have just swept it aside and just stopped yourself and you would be done with it. The next step would be to sit with this urge. I want you to see the importance that this urge has within you. So this driving motivation, this driving emotion. So find a moment, a quiet moment, a safe moment, where you are at a place where you can just for a few seconds disconnect from the outside world, close your eyes and sit with this urge. Allow yourself to postpone the addiction just for a moment. You don't have to exaggerate or overdo it, just for really just a few moments. And when you're sitting with this urge, you probably feel restless, you probably feel nervous, but underneath the nervousness and the restlessness, that's where you need to go. That's where the story lies, that's where the emotion lies. And it's about finding out what's causing you to be restless, what's causing you to feel this nervousness inside. And find out what kind of emotion you sense underneath. Maybe is it anger? Maybe you're feeling angry somehow. Or maybe you feel sad. Maybe there's grief. Whatever it is, just bear with it for a few seconds. When you allow yourself to do that, be curious and repeat a specific sentence. I'm going to tell you now, just to dig even deeper, to get more information from your subconscious mind, because you know the solution is always in your subconscious mind. It's right there. It's just very often too painful or too unpleasant to go there. But if you find the bravery just for this tiny moment to sit with these emotions, then use this sentence, just the beginning of a sentence, and fill in the blank. So I want you to repeat in your mind, and maybe if you like, out loud. I need to give in to this urge because I feel. And then you get an insight of the feeling. And if you feel like repeating because there are other feelings emerging, repeat it. And the next sentence would be, and I feel this or that, whatever came up, because. And that's already giving you the next insight that you need. For example, I feel angry because everybody's crossing my boundary. That's already a very powerful insight you get, because this means, for example, you sense that something is getting too close. And then you need to suppress that feeling. You're using the addiction for it. And then it's going to be okay again. While you get more and more insights from your subconscious mind, you might even realize that the anger is an old feeling, or whatever it is, the sadness, the grief, something that's stuck, that's not actually coming from the momentary situation. And that's the hint you need, because something that's old, that's stuck, when you give it the attention it wants, and that's the reason why it's constantly coming to the surface. When you're giving it the attention it wants, it's like you are allowing water to flow. And if you have a full bottle of water and you're allowing drop by drop to be released, after a while the bottle will be empty, because emotions are like that. They are coming and going. But if we suppress them, they're going to stay. Having this inner conversation with yourself is already giving you some answers, just to understand yourself better. We often have not learned to have these healthy interactions with ourselves. Sense the driving emotions, whatever they are, they came out of a wounded moment, a moment when you felt wounded. And this wounded self is actually screaming for attention. And allow yourself to just have this picture in your mind. If there would be someone wounded outside, screaming for help, what's the most humane thing you would do? You move to them and you help them. But we've never learned to do that for ourselves. We did not experience it in the moment, so we had to bury it underneath. But as the adult self that we are now, we can take charge of it and visualize how we're taking care of the wounded self. And that's just a playful invitation to visualize for yourself how you are approaching the wounded self in the moment when the wound happened. Noticing the wounds did not get any support then, but you can give it the attention now. They will heal. If you want to move a brave step ahead, and that's sometimes difficult if we haven't experienced compassion ourselves, but just allow yourself to have this thought of opening up your heart towards yourself and allow yourself to feel the compassion for what you had to endure then. And I know it's difficult, because otherwise we wouldn't struggle. But it's an internal human ability we just need to allow ourselves to connect to. So holding the wounded self for a moment, noticing how it felt because of it. And I want you now to even go into dialogue with this wounded self and say to the wounded self, I know how you feel because you've told me. And you have every right to feel that way because of what you have experienced. And I'm really sorry that there was no one there for you, no one holding you, no one giving you support. But I am here now. And I'm protecting you. I'm going to make sure that you feel safe. It might even sound weird to do this exercise, but you know, our bodies are listening and the words do have an impact. So the words alone do resonate with our body. And they're helping us to calm down. It's calming the nervous system down. And if you just allow yourself to go those tiny steps, you're already allowing yourself to move forwards, because it's starting an internal process and bringing you back into your power. It might be even especially difficult for men, because men, they're more focused on the outside. It's not so much on the inwards focus, not so much on the self-reflection. And the whole image of a man in our society is this knight with the armor fighting the outside world. But if you give yourself a chance to regain some inner strength by those exercises, 5 seconds of being vulnerable is okay. So don't stop there. It's very important. Because the next step is you need to fill up your batteries. It's like, okay, now we met the beast. We met the unpleasant. We went into those emotions. And it's really not nice. Or maybe it was okay, but yeah. But now we also need to focus on what is nourishing us, what's really doing us good. Find healthy things to charge your batteries with, because the more you bring in of those nourishing habits, of those feel-good moments, the less likely you are to give in to unhealthy ones. So it's about taking out the dark stuff, the disharmonized emotions, but also bringing in new ways to improve your soul connection. One thing you could do would be just connect to the present moment. Everything where you connect with your own body, with your own inner awareness, is good. So it could be grounding, it could be breathing, it could be writing and self-reflecting, but it also could be doing sports and being in the moment, sensing the movement. So in regards to grounding, you could simply connect to the soles of your feet. Feel into the soles of your feet for a moment. And notice, do they feel heavy? Do you sense pressure? Do they maybe feel tired? How does it feel when you wiggle your toes? And just breathe into them. That's already connecting you. And that's already calming your nervous system down. Those are quite some ideas you could try out. And the last step, I would suggest, if you notice that all these ideas are stressing you out way too much, don't do them. You don't need to stress yourself out. And there's a good reason for that, because maybe there's a big trauma underneath, or maybe too many things are accumulated. And you need to feel dissociated from your own self, because it feels too unsafe inside. Asking for help, that's absolutely okay. It's actually a sign of strength when you do so. We are not meant to carry the whole world on our shoulders. It's okay to realize there's something too heavy inside. And I'm quickly repeating those steps you could do. Or maybe if you like, just write them down. So first step, Notice whether a shift in your mindset could already make a difference. Asking yourself what kind of healthier behavior would you like to do instead? Second step, learning more about what is driving you internally, sitting with the urge. What kind of emotions are underneath? Third step, and really important for healing, because we are social creatures and thrive on compassion, is building a practice to give compassion to yourself, connected to the emotions. The fourth step, build healthy habits which bring you joy. We cannot run on empty batteries. We need something that makes us feel good. And the final step is being honest to yourself. Ask for help. If you feel having the connection to the inner self is too painful to bear alone, makes you feel unsafe, which is absolutely fine. There is a strength in acknowledging the truth. So seeing it for what it is takes courage. Acknowledge that. And as a few last words that I would like to add is, yes, you could actually just probably suppress the addiction. But because of the emotional drivers, you would most likely end up in a situation where you would just have another form of addiction. Going to the root, being with the urge for a moment could be way more powerful. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope this was helpful to you. Let me know in the comments below. Maybe you even have some additional ideas you want to share. Would be lovely. So looking forward to seeing you next time. Take care.